He's been called the Ted Lasso of the NBA. Timberwolves assistant coach Micah Nori has spun traditionally predictable halftime TV interviews into gold with his Lasso-esque style.
Amy Hockert sat down with the coach and found out there's a lot more to his story than these memorable metaphors, though.
Oh, a lot more, you guys. Wolves fans absolutely love the sense of humor of Micah Nori, but he really brings these halftime interviews to life. As we found out, though, really behind the scenes, that's where he brings so much more. He brings a lot of heart.
If he goes the other way, open up. Perfect. Good job. Good job.
It's the morning after a late-night game. Timberwolves assistant coach Micah Nori is spending his day off coaching in a small high school gym in Minneapolis.
We've done some winning this year. Hopefully we can end it in the same fashion that you all did last year.
It's Coach Nori's first time working with Roosevelt's unified basketball team. But within 5 minutes, he knows every player by name.
You got it, Katie. Drive in there, Katie. Go, Nick! Go, Alicio! Go, Alicio!
He credits his dad, a coach, and his mom, a teacher for 35 years, for teaching him, when you ask someone for something, you make it personal.
One more. You got it, Solomon.
Personal connections have been the undercurrent in Nori's 25 years in the NBA.
Yes! Good job!
His first big break in the league came after college from an Ohio hometown connection. Butch Carter, brother of Vikings legend Chris Carter.
He said, would you have any interest in coming up and being an intern with the NBA Toronto Raptors? And I said, Butch, I've been hitting baseballs for the last 4 years. And he said it would be more the X's and O's. And he gave me some great advice that, number one, it's dealing with people and getting to connect with people and getting them to trust you.
That's also where Nori connected with former Raptor forward Del Curry and his young sons Steph and Seth. Yes, that's Steph Curry, family friends to this day.
All they wanted to shoot was NBA threes, and so they'd just be launching balls, and they could make them. And then when their dad came in, they'd all go inside the three-point line because he said no threes, and they'd act like they're shooting and shooting.
After Toronto, Nori coached with the Sacramento Kings, Denver Nuggets, and Detroit Pistons. Then in 2021, he landed in Minnesota, where he had to start from scratch, building trust on a team full of superstars on the verge of a championship-caliber season.
Cat is an offensive juggernaut.
How about Rudy?
Just a defensive stalwart.
Mike Conley.
Oh, gosh. Captain Clutch.
And?
Got a chance to be one of the best ever.
And the feeling is mutual.
With someone like Micah, it connects the players and the coaches and allows that bond to grow and just kind of bringing fun and life to the gym.
A few weeks ago, when Anthony Edwards sank a career-high 51 points, he dedicated it to Coach Nori.
I will say that it was Micah's birthday today, and he turned 50, and I wanted to get 50 because of him, so shout out to Micah.
All right, Micah Nori's birthday.
But Coach Nori's commitment to connection goes way beyond the players. He's also won over the fan base.
Boom goes the dynamite, there goes our lead. We got to treat Bane like you do the elf on a shelf on Christmas morning. You got to find him. He makes everybody comfortable. He's like popcorn during Saturday night movies. Our paint defense was like 7-Eleven, open 24 hours. Realized they had hits on like Donkey Kong the way they started out. First time all year that we were kind of on almost like a hot mess express.
I always laugh when I would watch interviews with assistant coaches, and I feel bad because you kind of get the same question. That's where it kind of came, just like in the 30, 45 seconds. I thought two things. One, tell viewers the truth. What's really going on. Hey, our defense stinks. Our defense is great. And then the other thing is to try to have a little bit of levity or humor. Just, again, over the course of 7 months and the monotony of the game, it's fun to break that up.
We saw emotions. We saw things getting a little bit chippy. What did you see?
Well, I think like you said it, just because there's glass on the highway doesn't mean there's been a wreck. And what I mean by that is it's a one-point game. Cat and Ant combined for 7 points on 1 of 7 shooting.
Have you seen Ted Lasso?
I have. I've binge-watched Ted Lasso. I haven't seen the last one. And the interviews and that type of thing, it always used to start with a word. They tried to, and when I was doing it in Denver, even our head coach, Mike Malone, was like, can you get in different words, whether it be, so I had snuffleupagus, had to meow one time, and they would bet, and they would say, you won't do this or you will. I was like, I'll do it. What are they going to, and then it became the Ted Lasso stuff and then some of the same.
Eubanks, straight jacket defense.
Right now, the Wolves are still rolling after an unprecedented season, battling it out in round 1 of the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns. But you get the feeling that as much as he wants a championship, that's not the legacy Coach Nori cares about the most.
For me, success is not about the wins and losses. it's about helping these young fellas be the best versions of themselves on and off the field.
It doesn't have anything to do with wins and losses. It's just more about these relationships. I still stay in touch with guys that, I mean, the Charles Oakleys and Antonio Davises, and mentioned Del Currys, and just all the way through just the relationships that you build with teammates, the people that you've worked with. And number one, and then lastly, you just hope to be a good husband, dad, and that type of thing. I mean, it sounds corny, but at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's still about people. So at the end of the day, I hope they just say, hey, he was a good guy that, again, cared a little bit about people more so than he did himself, and that's fine.
How Ted Lasso is that, right? Something I learned during the course of this interview. So his last name is spelled N-O-R-I. And when I said, how do you pronounce it? He said, Nori. And I said, well, that's not how everybody else pronounces it in town. Media, players. Yeah. He said, yeah, I know. I pronounce it wrong sometimes too. It's just one of those tricky names. He's Italian, but his family insists it's Nori. So he said, call me whatever you want. Nori. It's all the same to me. So.
Or just call me Micah.
Or just call me Coach. Yeah, exactly.
That's also a little Ted Lasso-esque.
It totally is. Yeah, no, such a great guy, and so much more to his story than just sort of the Ted Lasso-ism.
Yeah. He's a hard guy not to cheer for, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It just shows all the heart that's happening behind the scenes with this team. All right, thanks, Amy.